Welcome to Strip Cover Lit, welcome to Strip Cover Lit, where we squeeze the bigger picture of literature. I'm Adrian Fort. I am here for the second time. My editing software just ate the first one of these, so if I still have any of my highlights and colored words in here, you'll know where I have been. But we are here for a poetry discussion, which will occur in two separate playlists here on the channel. Number one being the poetry discussion playlist. Number two being the Charles Bukowski playlist. Sorry, I'm very angry right now, so I'm going to try not to show too much of that. If you appreciate what I do here, hitting the like button tells YouTube to share this video with other literature lovers, and I would appreciate that. If you find yourself here by chance but not design, literature is the only thing that I talk about on this channel. Poetry, short stories, novel read-alongs, things like that. But today's poem is indeed from the man, the myth, the legend, Charles Bukowski himself. The blackbirds are rough today, and it reads as such. Lonely as a dry and used orchard spread over the earth for use and surrender. Shot down like an ex-pug selling dailies on the corner. Taken by tears like an aging chorus girl who has gotten her last check. A hanky is in order, your lord, your worship. The blackbirds are rough today, like ingrown toenails in an overnight jail. Whine, whine, whine. The blackbirds run around and fly around, harping about Spanish melodies and bones. And everywhere is nowhere. The dream is as bad as flapjacks and flat tires. Why do we go on with our minds and pockets full of dust like a bad boy just out of school? You tell me. You who were a hero in some revolution, you who teach children, you who drink with calmness, you who own large homes and walk in gardens, you who have killed a man and own a beautiful wife. You tell me why I am on fire like old dry garbage. We might surely have some interesting correspondence. It will keep the mailman busy, and the butterflies and ants and bridges and cemeteries, the rocket makers and dogs and garage mechanics will still go on a while, until we run out of stamps and or ideas. Don't be ashamed of anything. I guess God meant it all, like locks on doors. And I do still, this time, want to start right there where we end. I guess God meant it all, like locks on doors. Now, this is like the line from Animal Farm when asked, oh, what was the donkey's name? Anyway, when he was asked, he said, if he's happy that he has a tail to swat the flies, he said, I would rather have no tail and no flies. There is no plan for some things. If God meant it all, there would be no need for locks on doors. Not that God would have made doors with locks on them. If God meant it all, there would maybe be no use for locks on doors. If God meant it all, even the reason to have locks on your doors, why would you have them? It was what was meant to be. So we have in this poem, so it feels a little bit all over the place, right? But I think you maybe agree, this feels like the heart of it here. You who were a hero in some revolution, you who teach children, you who drink with calmness, you who own large homes and walk in gardens, you who have killed a man and own a beautiful wife, you tell me why I am on fire like old dry garbage. These are societal standards and expectations. If someone does not meet societal standards and expectations, they are discarded. They are like old dry garbage. That is what you is if you are not the societal standards. The societal standards are the you in this poem, a hero who teaches children, who drinks with calmness, who owns a large home, walks in gardens. So we can assume from these things that our speaker is not a hero in some revolution, does not teach children, does not drink with calmness, does not own large homes, does not walk in gardens, has not killed a man, or does he own a beautiful wife. Our speaker not being that guy is judged. Our speaker not being that guy is the reason maybe someone has locks on their doors. You know, really, a door is only as strong as the lock, and the lock is only as strong as the hinge. A lock is only as strong as the wood that it's wedged inside. Where there's a will, there's a way, right? That lock on your door won't save you if it's bad enough. We still feel better with it there. But someone like our speaker, the judged as opposed to the judger, maybe he doesn't. So we have here the question of worthlessness. A man feeling like garbage. Well, we happen to have these examples earlier in the poem. An orchard spread over the earth for use and surrender. An ex-pug pugilist selling dailies on the corner. He's no longer a pugilist, he's selling papers. Taken by tears like an aging chorus girl who has gotten her last check. She's no longer going to be a chorus girl. She's too old. These are people without much use, not in the traditional way. They're not a hero. They don't teach children or drink with calmness. They don't own a large home. You know, I've got a read-along coming for Ernest Hemingway. I've been reading some Hemingway. The Fincavigia edition, short story by short story. It'll be coming soon to the channel. The very first story in there is the short happy life of Francis Macomber. There are three characters, basically, in that story. There's Francis Macomber, there is his wife Margot, and there is Wilson, the hunter. Now, in the world that Margot and Francis come from, in the world from which Margot and Francis come, kind of an odd twist of phrase with the way that short story goes. In that world, Wilson's not much use. He's an old machine gunner from the war. He knows how to track animals. He knows how to kill. He knows that sort of thing. He's rough. In the world from where Francis comes, that toughness is not valued. Francis plays games. Francis knows tennis and baccarat. Baccarat? I have no idea what that game is called. Doesn't matter. That's what he knows. In his world, those games, polite and civilized games that people who live in large homes, they play, those skills do him good. Wilson, on the other hand, seems like the type of fella that would hit you with a headbutt in a game of paper, rock, scissors. Not the nicest guy. In the heat of their hunt, Francis Macomber fails, and that night his wife sneaks into Wilson's tent and sleeps with him. In Wilson's world, Francis Macomber's skills don't do him very much good. But there is a place for those people. Wilson does live in Africa and takes people on hunts. Francis does have a fancy high society to which he will retreat. We don't really have that anymore. Civilization is perhaps too civilized. Our place is too homogenized. People who do not fit in here have nowhere left to go. I think that is the place from whence our speaker springs in this poem. Giving these examples of the dancer who can no longer dance, of the boxer who has to sell papers. Those are the people for whom you need locks on your doors. People without much use. People without much use and nowhere else to go. That's hard. The world is hard. It's very difficult to be someplace like that, to have that life where you are without use. It's very rough. The blackbirds are rough today. That is all I have time for this short poetry discussion. If you enjoy this sort of thing, it really helps me out if you decide to hit that like button. If you find yourself here by chance but not design, consider hitting the subscribe button and sticking around for more, and I hope to have you back for the next one.